you like to use your Safari app, we're in Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim, chapter 695. I wanted to review something from yesterday because I feel like I sped through the halachot yesterday. The first halakha, before we got to Maran, after we got to Maran, the Rama mentions that it's a mitzvah to also eat a little bit of a Suda at nighttime. I mean, the nighttime of Purim should not be so depressing. So Maran says that the nighttime of Purim, if you make a meal, lo yatsa, you don't fulfill your obligation, right? The Rama says, but you should have a little bit of a meal. The Mishnah in Be'ua adds, if you click on Halacha Aleph, click on that one. Go to commentaries, Mishnah Be'ua. The last few lines, he writes, Katvu ha'charonim, the charonim write, Dinachon lilbosh b'gdei Shabbat, gam ken mi'ba'erev. It's proper to also wear your Shabbat clothing, not just on Purim day, but also on the nighttime of Purim, which would mean, what? That when you come for Mincha tomorrow, it's still a fast day, you should already come wearing your Yom Tov clothing tomorrow by Mincha. Don't show up tomorrow in work clothes. I mean, you can show up however you want, right? I'm not telling you no. But if you were planning to dress up for Purim, don't wait till the next day because it was a fast day. Wait, it's already started by the time Purim begins. V'imtza achar kach beveito, and you should come home to your house. You should come home to nerot dalkot, candles that are lit. Shulchan Aruch, a table that is set. U'mita mutzat, and a bed which is made. So for the single guys here, hire cleaning help. For the married people here, hire more cleaning help.
We don't ship her off to Israel.
Right. What I mean to say is that it doesn't mean you have to light candles, mamash, like Shabbat candles. What? It should be happy in the house. Now you come home, it's like balagan, there's no table, there's nowhere to sit, there's nowhere to sleep, there's no... It's a holiday. Even though tomorrow's a fast day, tomorrow's not a sad fast day. It's not a negative fast day. Tomorrow's a positive fast day. Prepare for Purim tomorrow. Prepare. Make sure that before you come to the Beit HaKnesset tomorrow, everything is ready. That you're ready for a Chag. And there's a mitzvah to eat a little bit tomorrow night. Obviously not a Suda like the next day, but tomorrow to eat something. The next halakha. We read it yesterday, but I want to elaborate. Chayav inish levasumei b'puraya. A person must drink on Purim. Ad de lo yada, until he cannot tell the difference. De lo yada ben aru Haman lebog Mordechai, between cursed Haman and blessed Mordechai. I spoke to you already last night that there's no mitzvah to get drunk on Purim. And even if there was a mitzvah to get drunk on Purim, you shouldn't do it. And for those who get drunk on Purim, it's a great way to lose your own ahava. There's no reason to get drunk on Purim. There's no reason to get drunk on Purim. There's no reason to get drunk on Purim. Bichlal, the Jewish community has a disease. Alcohol is a disease in the Jewish community. But not in my community. In my community, you're going to find a man Shevitz bottle of wine. Maybe that's why nobody has a problem with alcohol. Nobody wants to drink that stuff. It could be.
No, why does it say it in the Mishnah Berurah?
Mishnah, because it's not in the Shulchan Aruch, so he's adding more details that came about since after the sealing of the Shulchan Aruch. I don't understand for the life of me how you come to a place. I know you don't agree with me. I don't care if you don't agree with me. You come to a place. It's a Jewish event, and the rabbi hands out bottles of whiskey and vodka and all kinds of other alcoholic beverages. What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of the rabbi saying, "Here, come take a shot"? Which religious significance, which religious value is there to drinking alcohol with your rabbi? Or in the Beit HaKnesset? Which physical reason is there for that, aside from to lose a little bit of your mind, which is forbidden?
To open the third eye.
To what?
To open third eye.
He wants to go to other dimensions.
Probably say simcha, you know.
Why simcha? That's not
I
simcha.
don't know. I know, I agree with you.
Imagine say, Raphael, you know what? I would love to celebrate your birthday party, but I hate you, so I have to drink before I come so I can celebrate. Imagine telling us for that. Those people who on Simchat Torah drink. What are they telling Kadosh Baruch Hu? Torah, Ora. Torah is joy. But I'm not happy enough with your Torah, so you have to drink in order to be happy. So you go to a wedding, your best friend. You don't like who he's marrying, so you drink so you can dance, because what are you going to do? You have no choice. You're marrying her anyways. That's how you treat HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not my problem if some people got stuck somewhere in the middle of Siberia, and it was cold over there, and they had to drink to stay alive. Well, Hashem, in San Diego, you have a heater. If not, you can go buy one in Target.
Don't need a heater.
To me, it doesn't make sense. If someone comes to my house and brings me a bottle of alcohol, I always send it back with it. Wine, different wine. Chachamim drank wine. Chachamim drank wine. I used, in my house, I used to have certain guests. I would take the bottle of wine away from the table after kiddush. As soon as I did kiddush, when I went to wash my hands, I would hide the bottle of wine. There's some people, I would watch them. The whole night, they could finish a whole bottle of wine. What does it tell you when you can finish a whole bottle of wine? You should call your local church and sign up for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a problem. If a person can drink a bottle of wine, they have a problem. And they don't think it's a problem because they think they're young, they think they're cool, they think they're... Whatever it is they think, it's a problem. And help yourself now before you find yourself somewhere down the road ruining a relationship, or ruining your children, or ruining your life, or finding yourself in a car accident, or whatever else, or ruining your liver, whatever's going to happen. There are problems in life we cannot save ourselves from. Because who decides who has poor, and who's rich, and who's sick, and who's other. But there's some problems that we make for ourselves. I was once in Yerushalayim, and there was a Talmid Chacham who died. And they came to invite our parents to the funeral. Our parents did not come. So why not? Is this Talmid Chacham? He got killed in a car accident because he was going 40 miles over the speed limit. So he didn't die. He killed himself. I'm not coming to the funeral of somebody who killed himself. Like that. Everything that we do wrong, someone we blame it on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 20 years down the road, our liver is dying, our marriage is in shambles, our children hate us. Oh, Hashem, we need it. Why are you talking to Hashem? He didn't do anything. What HaKadosh Baruch Hu did to you? Purim has become an excuse in the Jewish community to get drunk. Bichlal, even according to those who believe you should get drunk, there are such poskim. I'm going to lie to you. There are such poskim. According to them, you only fulfill your mitzvah with wine because that's what happened in the Suda of HaShamayim. If you get drunk because of something else, even according to those poskim who say to get drunk, you didn't fulfill a mitzvah. A Talmid Chacham is never allowed to get drunk. So if you see a person who purports to be a Talmid Chacham and he's drunk, treat him like a person who is a Talmid Chacham who does crack cocaine. Treat him the same way, like he's not a Talmid Chacham. I was once in a Beit HaKnesset and I saw a rabbi who was drunk, sitting on top of the bima, on top of it. You know that you're not even allowed to lean on the bima? You know that? The bima is a holy table. It's not ours. It's for the Sefer Torah. He was sitting on top of it, drunk, in his own vomit that was on top of the bima. And like his whole stupid community were dancing around in circles. It looked, when I'm in mind, I'm thinking, what did it look like when the Jews danced around the golden calf? This is what I thought of. Like this is probably what it looked like. Absurd. Your rabbi is drunk and he's throwing up on top of the bima where you read the Sefer Torah and you guys are dancing. Rip your shirts, it's Shiva, but dancing? The world that you live in right now is crazy. I know those rabbis, the same rabbis that are getting drunk and throwing up in the Beit HaKnesset are the same rabbis that 2 weeks from now are going to give me a hard time because I tell you that you can buy olive oil without a kosher symbol for Pesach.
Yeah.
Because somehow these golden calves are more religious than everybody else who follows Halacha. Understand? And why do they still exist? They exist because you let them exist. Who's you? Not you. You're sitting here, you're not a problem. If you're sitting in my place, you're not a problem. Who's you? You, the Jewish community who doesn't throw such people out. One thing now, it's a problem. When I was in 10th grade. No. Whose class was I in 10th grade? Yeah, when I was in 10th grade, I used to sit next to that boy. He was maybe a year younger than me. You know, in yeshiva, it's like 300 people, I don't know, but 500, I don't know how many people, praying in the same room together. Then you have an assigned seat, and your whole year you're praying in this chair, with this book, with this siddur, and that guy sits next to you, and one sits next to you, this whole year. It's like a neighborhood. So this is my neighborhood. The guy that was sitting next to me, we went home for vacation after Yom Kippur, home for Sukkot. I came back. Come inside. There's room at the table. I came after Sukkot to the yeshiva, and my friend is here, and I'm here, and the guy at the end of the table is here, but this chair is empty. No, what happened to him? He was such a special. I remember this guy used to pray like a tzaddik. He was a young kid, maybe 9th grade, 10th grade, 9th grade. He was walking home from Beit Knesset on Simchat Torah, and he got hit by a drunk driver. A drunk driver who not a week out of jail already for drunk driving the first time. And this boy, at 14 years old, we buried him. We wrote a book in his honor. In 12th grade, we published a book in his honor. Because of what? Because some idiot couldn't stop drinking and driving? You think in the Jewish community it's not a problem? It's a problem. If you think alcohol is not something you can get addicted to, you can get addicted to alcohol. Addiction is something you get addicted to anything. The fact that the law allows something to be legal or not legal doesn't make a difference to you as a Jewish person. You don't follow only what it says in the law. You follow more than that. And if you think it's just one shot, it's just one party, just one bottle, it's just one... Maybe you know yourself. What about your friends that come to your Friday night table? What about the people who your friends bring with them, their spouse? Do you know everybody who had an addiction problem in their past? You know everybody's history? And your $20 can ruin someone else's life, if not your own. If the Torah tells us, the Torah says you have to be very careful to take care of your soul. The Rambam says, what's a practical application? How careful do you have to be with danger? What's considered reasonable? My wife and I argue about this a lot. My wife is a risk taker. I am much less, if at all. People think I'm very brave. Some things. My wife has been fighting with me since we got married. She wants to go jump off a cliff in La Jolla, paragliding. That's all she's married to somebody else who can jump off a cliff. You're crazy. It's my wife. I have kids. Jump off a cliff somewhere. Wear 3D goggles and jump off a cliff. Yeah, my parents said I have to let. I still don't. What do I do? But I said it's dangerous. So my parents asked me, is it dangerous? I said, of course. He asked my wife, is it dangerous? She said, no, it's not. I said, okay, so then it's not dangerous. It's okay. Dangerous. What does the Rambam consider dangerous, where you violate a prohibition for doing something dangerous? Says the Rambam, it's forbidden, our Chachamim forbid us from stabbing a knife into an etrog. That's considered dangerous. What's dangerous about a knife and etrog? No, Anatolis and Kabbalah, what? The third dimension, what happens there? Why, first of all, why would I stab a knife into an etrog?
Because you're angry.
Okay, that's
Because you think it's a lemon.
okay, let's say a lemon. Then we're not gonna be the fruit. The lemon. What's the story here?
Making a salad.
You go on a picnic and you want to take a knife with you. What do you do with a knife? I know you fancy people have these plastic covers that go on your knives. For us people who grew up with aluminum foil or something, that always pokes through the end of the aluminum foil.
Right.
So how do you do it?
They stick it in something.
Anyways, you're taking a lemon with you. No, you have to make salad on this. So you put in the lemon and you put it in the picnic basket. Says the Rambam, it's forbidden. Why?
Because it may slip out.
Maybe the etrog is going to roll off the table. And the knife is going to come out on the other side of the etrog. And someone is going to trip and fall onto the knife. And because of that, it's forbidden to put a knife inside your etrog. Come listen carefully. How careful does somebody have to be about doing dangerous things in halakha? That careful. That careful. So a bottle of hard alcohol at your table, what's more dangerous? That or the lemon and the knife and the lemon? For sure the bottle of alcohol. For sure. Not even a question. Ask in this room how many people fell on top of a knife in their life. Shaul HaMelech, he died that way. How many other people? How many people here know somebody who has an addiction problem or had an addiction problem? Probably everybody here. So no. What's the question? Why does it even have to be a conversation? Who allowed you to go somewhere and buy a bottle, let alone serve it, let alone drink it? I'm asking a real question. Show me the halakha where it says that you're allowed to enjoy a beverage that is dangerous for you. You're not going to find it. And on Purim, it's definitely not the time to enjoy it. It's a Suda of Mordechai and Esther, not a Suda of Haman. You think I'm speaking harsh? Let's read the Meiri together. The Meiri says, if you're in the Mishnah Berurah, it's going to be on the left column on page Kuf Samach Aleph. Here, Moshe, you want to pass me that red one? Look. In the left column, where it says Biur Halacha. If you're in Safari, you'll click on that Halacha bet, and then you're going to look for commentaries. It's going to be Biur Halacha.
I'm gonna need your, sorry.
This is the language of the Meiri. Chayav Adam leharbot b'simcha b'yom zeh. A person must increase their joy on this day of Purim. Uv'achila uv'shtiyan, with eating and drinking, ad shelo yichsar shum davar, until there's nothing missing in his table. It should feel like you're a king of the world in this Purim. But nonetheless, we're not commanded to get drunk. What is the synonym for getting drunk in the Meiri's language? And to degrade ourselves. What is a drunk person? It's an embarrassing thing to see. I was driving back from LA last week and we're at the gas station, and Rafael and I met a nice drunk guy. Probably wasn't only his problem that he was drunk. He had other glaring issues that were there too.
Yeah.
But the poor guy, he must have been in his 60s, maybe even 70, I don't know. And instead of sitting in his house with his grandchildren, or sitting in a yeshiva learning Torah, or sitting at home in front of the TV, he's busy walking around half barefoot in the gas station, drunk, mumbling to the wind and to... it's a
Friendly
degrading
drunk.
thing.
He was a friendly drunk.
He was very friendly. He wasn't scared. Like, he wasn't upset. It wasn't. Just was very. He even wanted to wash our car for us.
With the dirty rag.
Yeah.
We're not commanded on Purim, out of the joy of Purim, to get drunk and therefore degrade ourselves.
What number are you on, sorry?
It's Biur Halacha. It's going to be the second one on that page. It doesn't have numbers, so I can't tell you.
Is it Shulchan Aruch Chaim?
Yeah, Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim 695.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, commentary Biur Halacha.
got it, thank you.
Shalom nitztavenu al simcha. We were not commanded about a simcha to be joyous. Shel holelut v'shel shtut, of craziness and stupidity. Ela b'simcha shel ta'anug. We're commanded to be in a kind of simcha which is joyful. It's pleasurable. Sheyagia mitocha la'avat Hashem. That joy is supposed to bring you to the love of Hashem. V'hoda'al hanisim she'asa lanu, to give Him thanks for the miracles He did for us. I mean, the whole point of Purim is to sit at a table with your friends, with your family, with your food, with your drink, and to reach a place where you fall in love with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where you're so happy about this day that you can't help but just, I can't stop. I was also the person, couldn't stop singing songs. Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Thank you, Hashem. It's so good to thank you, Hashem. But to the point where someone gets drunk. What is drunk? Even drunk enough they're saying inappropriate things. Drunk enough where they're embarrassing themselves, embarrassing other people. I was very young. I saw a guy got drunk on Purim. I remember it was crazy. I mean, he was a religious guy, right? And his wife was sober. She had kids. He couldn't even walk in a straight line. She's trying to load the kids into the van. She just left him in the front door of the Beit Knesset. He just laid on the floor in the front door of the Beit Knesset, and she went home with her family. Somebody's kids has to see that. It's funny. It's crazy. It's not normal. And still someone like that would be called religious? In Yiddish there's a song. I'm not a Yiddish speaker, and I'm not advocating even the message of this song. That song I once heard the little Hasidim sing. The song that they grew up in the shtetl. They told me in the shtetl they used to sing the song. Shikar is a goy. I'm not saying for me. I'm not telling you this. He said a drunkard must be somebody not Jewish. How do you mean a Jewish person who's drunk? In your whole life you can't meet a Jewish person who got drunk. There used to be a like Ivan the Cossack got drunk. That's normal. What is he gonna do? He's 25 years. He's in the Tsar's army. He has no life.
I heard that growing up my whole life.
You heard it whole
As
life.
a kid.
No, that,
Yeah,
it was like I
in
think
the secular
meaning,
home.
a Jewish person has so much better things to do, so many things that he needs to do in his life. How could you waste your time getting drunk? And now you're going to tell him Purim it's a mitzvah. Some people are even strict. They do 2 days. One for now, one for Yerushalayim. They start at the nighttime. And look at every ad that you'll see for a Purim party. Has some mention of the alcohol that they're going to be serving there.
Open bar.
I mean, look, I've looked around San Diego. Menorahs and martinis. What do they have? Torah with beer. This one with whiskey. That one. Judaism became a bar. It's embarrassing for us. It's embarrassing for Am Yisrael. It's embarrassing. Someone said, "What do you do? That's the way you get people to come. Find other people." We left 4/5 of the Jewish people in Egypt. We can do it again. I know y'all come from this middle. We need everybody. Bring everybody. Fine, bring everybody. Sometimes I don't understand. I saw an ad. I was looking on Craigslist for something Jewish. I was sending him Shlach Mano. And I came across an ad of a rabbi. Obviously not one of our kind of rabbis, but he was a former rabbi in a big temple somewhere. And he has a whole thing. He can be a rabbi for holidays. He can do weddings, interfaith weddings, bar mitzvahs for dogs. He can do everything. And he can entertain. He can dance with things on his head. He can play music. I was looking at myself. I said, what do I mean? Imagine you were going to go to hire this top-notch lawyer to defend you in some court case, and you see his ad says, he can defend you in court. He's past the bar. He can also juggle fire and spit water out of his mouth and catch popcorn in between his teeth. Imagine he told you that. What would you feel about such a person? It's embarrassing.
He's an entertainer.
It's embarrassing that we've lowered the Torah to such a place where the only way we can get people to come is if we entertain them. I'm preaching to the choir. I know my kehillat. I'm not a word here.
Get Larry David.
Okay, the Rama mentioned a few things. There's a custom to wear Shabbat clothing on Purim, and that's the proper custom. He mentioned about eating the meal of the day. We already did that last night. I want you to look with me, please, on... Okay, let's look a few halachot in chapter 696. Tafresh Sadivav. It's on page opposite page 322 in the Mishnah Blatt. So it's opposite 322. Purim, on Purim, mutar ba'asiyat menacha. It's permitted to go do work on Purim. Not just work, meaning any of the things we do on Purim. ובמקום שנהגו שלא לעשות, and if you live in a place where the minhag is not to do any forbidden work on Purim, אין עושים. You're not allowed to work. It says, והעידנה נהגו בכל מקום שלא לעשות. Today it's the custom everywhere. The people, it's a regular weekday for most people. והעושה, but it says Maran, you should know, the one who does work, אינו רואה סימן ברכה מאותה מלאכה לעולם. You won't see any benefit from that work for your whole life. Unless you're involved in something that is joyous. כגון בית חתנות לבנו. You're building a wedding hall for your son. What does it mean, building a wedding hall for your son? They always read it like that. Wedding hall. What do you mean by a wedding hall?
It's almost like you're doing a mitzvah.
Moshe, can I embarrass you a little bit? Back in Poland, when you were growing up, when they're getting ready for a wedding, it takes a few days to get cooking for a wedding.
Oh yes.
All the family get together, ladies get together.
Yeah.
Do you build something for the wedding? Where do everyone go eat? Where do they sit? Where do they dance?
Well, the part of Poland where I grew up, they usually use somebody's house that is appropriate for the event.
What if it's too big for somebody's house? I'll tell you, because I know where in the part of Poland he grew up.
Rent a hall.
You build something. You build like a tent. You know Raphael's party rentals. What do you do? That is free ad. I'm just saying, you start building a gazebo somewhere where people could sit. That's what they do in every party. You just, that's part of what the community does. And that's, everyone's happy to do it. It's work, but it's happy. It's like in my house. Before the summer comes, we start building up our big tents in the backyard. We're happy to do it though because we know we're going to have nice dinners Friday night sitting outside. Okay. You're allowed to do that kind of work on Purim. It's a happy work to do on Purim. That's fine. Or Avevar Neki Shel Melachim. From what I understand, it's some kind of trees that they plant for the kings, to have shade. The Shari, those things are permitted. It says the Ramah mutar lasot kol malechet mitzvah. You're allowed to do any kind of mitzvah. K'gon lichtov piskei halachot, to write halachot. V'chen mutar lasot afilu melachot gemurot etzov Purim. And anything you could do for Purim, cooking, fire, everything. Notice that according to Shulchan Aruch, it's not so clear that you're allowed to break Shabbat on Purim. Only in a place where that's the custom. In a place where that's not the custom, the Ramah is adding, it's permitted for you to write if you're writing words of Torah. I think here in San Diego, we're so far away from this mentality. For what I see over the years, for San Diegans, Purim, it's like you go to work, you come after work, you read the Megillah. We don't even have this concept of, wow, it's a day off. We put our bus, we don't come in on Purim, or we leave early on Purim, or whatever we be. We don't even think like that. Now, of course, it's allowed. But Maran uses this word, you're never going to see blessing from that your whole life. There's a question what that means. The Mishnah Berurah brings on the bottom two opinions. If you click again on Halacha Aleph, go to commentary, Mishnah Berurah number 4, Dalid. For those on the Mishnah Berurah, it's the last line in the first page that we're reading. Siman Bracha. See down there, there's a Dalid? Yeah. Siman Bracha. Kigonim Zorea is davar. If you plant something, it won't grow. How much you want to bet if you plant grass on Purim, it's going to grow? So there's got to be another understanding of this. He brings another understanding. Aval Harem katav. The Ram writes she'eno marviach. What does it mean? You okay? You okay?
We're down the wrong way.
Ooh.
You alright?
I'm okay.
He's alright. Vietnam was worse, I promise. Harem katav she'eno marviach. The Ram says it means that you don't profit. Aval eno mafsid gam. You're not going to lose. Meaning, if you have to go to work tomorrow, Purim, because you're going to lose your job, so you go to work. But don't think that you're going to get extra money because you worked an extra day. You might not lose anything, but you're not going to get anything from it. Now, this is less relevant maybe to people who work on salary, but let's say you own your own store or something like that. I got to open up Purim, what am I going to do? We're going to lose customers. The truth is, if you feel like you're going to lose customers, fine, but you're not going to make any new money. That's our understanding of Purim. It's a day where you can work if you have to, but don't put in all your hopes in that day of work.
For someone like medicine, it's different.
Okay, like Shabbat also. I always tell people, whenever I meet doctors, I tell them, Jewish doctors. My father was in the hospital. I asked the Jewish doctor who's going to be there the next day. He said, oh, I work on Shabbat. I said, yeah, you and me, we're the only two professionals that are allowed to work on Shabbat.
No, I don't.
I had to convince this guy it's okay. He was trying to show me how much he not keeping Shabbat. Actually, he is keeping Shabbat. He doesn't know. Those religious Jews, they don't even let you get away with breaking Shabbat. Okay, let's see Halacha Gimel. Yom Yudalid v'Yom Tedvav. The 14th and the 15th. The 14th this year starts tomorrow night and Thursday. And Thursday night, Friday is the 15th. Asurim behesped, it's forbidden to give eulogies. V'tanit lechol adam b'chol makom. You can't fast and you can't eulogize any person in any place. What does that mean? It's forbidden to eulogy.
Give a hesped.
Can we bury a person on Purim?
I imagine,
Should be
yes.
able to.
Imagine you.
Yeah, have to. But we don't say anything at the funeral. Nothing said. Can't speak anything. It's Purim. It's a holiday. It's like what the Ashkenazim say on Shabbat. Shabbat himilizok. When you say refuah, Shabbat is a day when you can't scream. But refuah level. But we believe anyways that Hashem will send a refuah. Today is the day that we wish we. They say. Today's the day that normally they would cry, but it's Purim, so what can they do? There are other days in the calendar like this.
Is it Shiva on Purim?
That's a good question. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. Vanashim and the woman. This is a halacha you'll never find it. מענות בהם שכולן עונות כאחת ומטפחות שמכות כף אל כף ולא מקוננות. שתי אחת מדברת וכולן עונות אחריה. There's a custom among the women that they would gather together and make all kinds of sounds and calling and crying and screaming, and some of those voices are allowed and some are not allowed. נקבר המת, but once they already bury him, לא מענות ולא קונות. We no longer, they're not even allowed to do that. It's not something you'll find today. They don't even let women speak. So, in Israel, there's certain Chevra Kadishas, they won't let you bury somebody if a woman's going to speak at the funeral.
They don't let the women go to the
In
burial.
Yerushalayim, there's a custom like that.
Right?
In Yerushalayim, the custom is even the children of the person who passed away, they don't go to the funeral. They stop outside of the cemetery. And why? I don't know. I'm not familiar with all these minhagim, but Kol divrei avilut, all the other things of avilut, of mourning, nohagim b'Chanukah b'Purim. They apply in Chanukah Purim. Ramah says, in any case, the mourner still has to go to Beit HaKnesset to hear the Megillah. But if he can get a minyan to come to his house and read it for him there, so he doesn't have to come to Beit HaKnesset, it's better. Some say there is no mourning on Purim. Not for the 2 days of Purim. And that is the custom in Ashkenaz. So in Sfarad and Ashkenaz, there are two different customs, whether Purim pushes off mourning or not. And he says in Ashkenaz, afilu avilut yom rishon nidchem mipnei Purim. Even the first day of mourning, which is real, the real day of mourning is pushed off because of Purim. But all the things that are private, he does. Like what is private?
Like not bathing,
Yeah, or not getting, not bathing,
sitting,
haircut,
on,
those kind of
sitting
things.
on the floor.
So,
And even though you don't mourn, a person doesn't mourn on Purim according to Minhag Ashkenaz, or it counts for one of the 7 Shiva days. Like Shabbat counts, even though nobody mourns on it. Not like a holiday, like if a person, let's say, no, that's not real. Okay. Okay, he writes over there. Fine. What were you going to ask?
no, you answered it if it counts as a day of mourning, even though you don't do public mourning. But
Correct.
On Yom Tov, though, I remember,
Yom Tov, there's differences
yeah.
in Israel and America. In America, we don't follow any of the halachot properly regarding burial, so it doesn't. There are differences on Yom Tov depending where you are. Imchal Purim b'motzei Shabbat. If Purim falls out on a Saturday night, and the mourner is still sitting there in the synagogue for mincha because he came to pray. Shabbat he comes. Lo yitzeh misham. He should not leave there ad sheitpalel tfilat arvit, until he prays arvit v'yishma kirat Megillah, and he hears the Megillah. Umachvat lo yitzeh mipetach beto, and the next day he shouldn't leave his house. And that's according to Maran. According to the Ashkenazim, he can come to Beit HaKnesset again for Megillah. Meaning he can't leave. It doesn't walk away from the tzibur once he was already there for Shabbat. You don't boycott Purim. But once he goes home, he doesn't leave again. Maran says in Vav, Yesh Mishomer, there is somebody who says, She'avel chayav lishloach manot, that the mourner gives mishloach manot, which tells you that there are those who say they don't have to. The Ramah says there's a minhag in Ashkenaz, En sholchim la'avel kol yud bet chodesh, that 12 months after a person loses somebody, in Ashkenaz the custom is not to give them mishloach manot. I don't know if anybody knows these things. But if in the city there's only this Jewish person and the mourner, he has to give to the mourner. Why could they came to Mishloach Manot? He has to fulfill the Mishloach Manot. Unless the Avel gets a package and no, I don't want it. Why? You can't force a person to accept a gift from you. You can't force them. So if you send Mishloach Manot to somebody, they don't want it, you get your mitzvah that you sent it. And they have the right to deny it. We mentioned that yesterday.
Is this across the board or just with Avelut?
He's bringing it from earlier when we said it across the board. Chet, mutar. No, I skipped the halacha, right? Yesh mishomer. Some say shonen. What's an onen? What's the difference in? Sorry, we're doing Kehillat Avelut. Normally, Sephardic superstitions keep us away from talking about these types of halachot. What's the difference in an onen and an avel? Both are mourners. Both have just lost a person. What's the difference between them?
I think one, the person they're mourning hasn't been buried yet.
Good job, Baruch. Top of the ball. An onen is a person who the dead body has not been buried yet. An avel is a person that already has been a burial and they're now in their days of mourning. Either the first 3 or the first 7 or the first 30, they're an avel. The onen in halacha is considered non-Jewish. He's not allowed to pray. He's not allowed to put on tefillin. He cannot answer amen to berachot. He cannot go to the Beit Knesset. He might not, I don't remember, it might not count for a minyan. Why? The job of the onen is to take care. Now he has no mitzvot. The only mitzvah he has, take care of his family that just died. That's all he has to worry about. There's no other mitzvah that applies to him. Even when he eats, he doesn't eat with the bracha.
I'm trying to remember I had that situation, but it was on a Yom Tov.
Now, in a certain situation, there are times like in America where, let's be very careful. It's very scary to get buried in San Diego. It's very scary. Forget how much it costs. That's even scary. Here in San Diego, the way it works is that at least the cemetery most people go to is owned by one person. That person's a rabbi. He charges an arm and a leg to bury people there. And he makes all the decisions. Who goes, who doesn't go, how much it costs, how much, everything. You can't complain on one side, everybody wants to get cremated. On the other side, they complain about, people can't afford it. So we'll never have to use those services. But let's say someone does. Once a person, all the services are in order. They're already planning. They're everything taken care of. Now they're just waiting. So it could be that the status of onenut changes there. They go to being an avel pre-burial. Remember though, in Israel it doesn't work like that. In Israel, someone passes away now, 9:25. Then 10:30, they're in the cemetery doing the funeral. 1 o'clock in the morning. If it takes 4 hours, or whatever they need to examine the body. So 1 o'clock in the morning, everyone's going to go to the funeral. Especially Yerushalayim. We don't leave dead bodies hanging around Yerushalayim.
So they do them at nighttime.
In the middle of the night. The whole superstition of going to cemeteries at night is a non-Jewish thing. I had many times where it was in a funeral at night. In the middle of the night. Freezing cold. Yerushalayim on the Har HaMenuchot, Mount of, what do they call it? Whatever they call Har HaMenuchot. No, it's the Mount of Resting. They have a word for it, for sure. In the entrance to Yerushalayim. It's not that one you're talking about is behind the Western Wall. There it's scary even in the daytime. When the Arabs there attack Jews when they're in the cemetery there. Yeah. So in Israel, imagine we had a terrorist attack yesterday. If in the United States there was a terrorist attack in the same place over and over and over again, and nobody did anything about it, you'd accuse the government of being anti-Semitic. In Israel, we have a different standard. In Israel, it's free. Sometimes, how many times what goes to the airport? I'm standing in line for the passport control. You have to go through before you leave the country. And some lady cut me in line.
Typical.
I said, excuse me? It's a long line. I'm waiting for my flight. She turns to me and says, yeah, parasite, you parasite.
Oh.
And then, I was like, I was single then. I said, excuse me? What parasite? You guys don't pay taxes. You don't serve in the army. I said, ma'am, first I'm an American. I don't know what you're talking about. And I do pay taxes. Yeah, I don't serve in the army. You're right, because at that time I wasn't an Israeli citizen. So what do you want from me? How do you even know me? If I was in America and somebody would call me a parasite in public, I could report that as a hate crime. But in Israel, you can't. Understand the absurd? If in the Jewish cemetery here in San Diego, you would go there and people would beat you up because you were Jewish, the police would do something about it. It would be their top priority to do something to make sure Jewish citizens don't feel threatened in San Diego. But in Yerushalayim, every day you can go to the cemetery and get beaten up there, throwing rocks at you. And nothing happens. They call it the circus of the absurd. Some say that the onen is allowed to eat meat and wine. It can't be that the mourning of an individual is going to push away the rejoicing of the whole community. To rejoice on Purim is something we have from Kabbalah, not Kabbalah like magic carpet. Kabbalah that our rabbis instructed us in this. Shem ki divrei Torah, which are considered to us like words of Torah. What is he trying to say? That Avelut, Maran holds that mourning applies on Purim. And the Rama says, what does the Rama say? It doesn't, right? But according to Maran, Onenut doesn't apply. Aninut? So, Chet, this is a happier topic. Mutar lisa isha b'Purim. You're allowed to marry somebody on Purim. Why not? Let's look at the Mishnah Berurah in Chet. 8. Delo dame lechag. It's not like Sukkot. Dichtiv v'samachta b'chagecha. And Sukkot says you have to be happy in the holiday. What do our rabbis say? Samachta b'chagecha, you should be happy with your holiday, v'lo b'ishtecha, and not with your wife. The drasha is you don't get married on Sukkot because it's time to be happy with the holiday, not be happy that you just got a wife. Mashen came Purim. Purim, you don't have this teaching. Then he brings a number of different opinions that say that you should make the meal before Purim. What do you mean before Purim? Like tomorrow, before sunset. I don't know what he does with the fast. And then you eat the meal on Purim itself. According to the Shari Tshuva, he says, no, everyone does like Shulchan Aruch, they get married on Purim, but what some people do is they have the meal in the morning for Purim, and in the afternoon they do the wedding meal. That way you don't lose the Purim meal because of the wedding meal. You want to be able to have both. And look, all the way to the end of the Shulchan Aruch, all the way to the end of the Halachot, here's Purim for everybody else. Remember we studied from the Ramah yesterday? The Ramah said that if you break somebody's window on Purim, Ashkenazi custom says that you don't have to pay for it. It's Purim! It's a happy day! What are you being so strict? I broke your window, big deal. From the joy I damaged you is not my problem. You can't take me to Bid Din for that. Maran doesn't agree. Right, I told you that according to this line of logic, many people allow all kinds of things that are not to be allowed on Purim. They allow it on Purim. So look, watch, read in front of your eyes. Ben biyudaled, ben betedvav. Whether on the 14th or the 15th you can get married. V'chol shaken shemutar la'asot pidyon haben. And of course you can do a pidyon haben. A pidyon haben is not as happy as a wedding. If you can do a wedding. Look here. Ma shenahagu lilbosh partzufim befurim. That which people have accustomed to wear. What are partzufim? What's a partzuf? A face. What do you mean to wear faces? Masks. That which people have accustomed to wear masks on Purim. Have you ever seen the masks Ashkenazi Jews used to wear? I saw them last night in Party City. They had these long, scary noses. You know what I'm saying? They like look like birds almost. They're masks. That was the minhag. Why? You could look it up on your own. That which they have accustomed to wear masks on Purim, v'gever lovesh simlat isha, and a man wears woman's clothing. V'isha kle gever, and a woman wears man's clothing.
I'm surprised.
Any sul b'davar, there's no problem with it, says the Rama. Machar she'en mechavnim, they have no intention, ela lesimcha ba'alma, just to be happy on Purim. That's all their intention is. V'chen b'vishat kalaim derabanan, and even if they are wearing rabbinically prohibited shatnez. Okay, I don't know an exact example to tell you for that. You can violate rabbinic prohibitions and even some biblical prohibitions on Purim, according to the Rambam, because that's the joy of the day. V'yesh omrim dasu, and some say it's forbidden to do all of this. That's us. Aval haminhag kisvar harishona, but the custom here in Ashkenaz is like the first opinion. Remind me again why in 3 weeks from now, everyone is going to tell us that we Sfaradim are lenient on Pesach because we eat all kinds of beans and grains and things that are, the Torah says you're allowed to eat them. But why you'll never hear me say on Purim, the Ashkenazim are not religious because they violate biblical prohibitions on Purim out of the joy of a rabbinic holiday. You understand what happened now?
Mhm.
Somehow, in 2 weeks from now, beans is going to be a problem. Beans, which the Torah says is okay, rice, which the rabbis in the Gemara ate and they wrote about it, but wearing man's clothing or women's clothing or breaking people's windows, all this is allowed on Purim.
And stealing.
Stealing? We're not done yet. Yeah. וכן בני אדם החוטבים זה מזה דרך שמחה, and people who steal things from each other because it's a joke. What? What is going on here, guys?
I'm stealing your Tesla.
What does it mean stealing from people?
It's only for a joke.
Who wants to watch me break a biblical commandment? Want to watch me break a biblical commandment?
No.
Not really.
No. Raphael, can I borrow your phone?
Let me unsee it.
That was not a biblical commandment. If I didn't ask him though, and I just grabbed his phone to look at it and I gave it back, that's a biblical prohibition of stealing. Even if he lets me because he didn't fight me, he didn't beat me up. You can't take something out of somebody else's hands the whole year. It happens a lot, by the way.
How about other stuff that's like is does anything achieve a common status? Like, if I just walk in your house, can I just take a Kleenex and blow my nose without asking you for that Kleenex?
Right. In certain cultures, like people will come and ask me permission to use my bathroom, ask me permission to take a tissue. The assumption is, I guess, in our culture that certain things are. That's why the tissue box is there. It's different than the guests that come to your house and open up your refrigerator. There are guests like that.
Oh yeah, we've had several.
I once had someone. I brought them to my mom's house. I used to when I had smaller Shabbat meals, I would go to my mom's house sometimes. And I brought some guests, and this guest, I thought, my parents' meals take a very long time. You think mine are bad? They take a very long time. And somewhere in the middle of the main course, this guest went into the kitchen, helped himself to a whole plate of dessert, took some grapes from the refrigerator and washed them, and brought them to the table and eating them. You should know, my mother, Hashem bless her, because she didn't. I thought he was gonna die. Like I thought that was the last day on earth. She didn't say anything to him. But I'm looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, where did you grow up? You went. It's one thing like you took a tissue from the can. It's one thing you took a dessert from the platter that was covered with aluminum foil. You went into the refrigerator, you took grapes, you washed them, you helped yourself to a plate and brought it to the table, all while your hosts are sitting outside. It was Sukkot. We were all sitting outside.
Oh wow, Sukkot too.
Can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
That would be
Many
stealing.
times.
According to all, that's Mahadrin. It's like glatt stealing. This one.
Oh my gosh! I once had some people staying for a wedding. They're the band, and I come home from work and they pulled the stereo out to plug in their keyboard to try it out, and then later on that weekend, I mean that was earlier in the week, and then the weekend or the next week I go to work or I'm out of house or something. I get this call. Where's the sugar?
At the grocery store.
I'm like,
Says the Rama, so if you're grabbing things from each other, in general, pranking each other is a very big sugya in halakha. It's a question if you prank somebody, even if they like to be pranked. The question if you're really violating for that first split second a biblical prohibition of do not oppress your fellow with words.
You've been punked.
So the Rama says, "En b'zeh mishum lo tigzol." You don't violate a biblical commandment of do not steal. V'nahagu kach, and that's the custom here. ובלבד שלא יעשו דבר שלא כהוגן על פי טובי העיר. Listen to this one. Hashem bless us. What are the Tuvei Ha'ir? Have you heard of this term, Tuvei Ha'ir? It's a Talmudic term. In every Jewish community, there's like an elder society. The best of the city. They're like the Jewish city hall. They're the wealthy people. They're the ones who make decisions for the whole community. They often represent the community legally to the non-Jewish government. They're the ones responsible if they see someone got homeless. They're responsible to find them a place to live. They're also they tax the community. In Ashkenaz, these people were sometimes very righteous people, sometimes very corrupt people. But the Rama says the only thing you can't violate on Purim is anything that the Tuvei Ha'ir tell you. Biblical commandment you can violate. Rabbinic commandment you can violate. But what they say, nobody can break that rule. It's classic. This is like textbook. This is a tradition. This is like the. Okay, I want to read you something in the Mishnah Bua. If you click on that long Ramah that we just read, you'll come up with the commentary, Mishnah Bua, and it'll be Lamed Aleph. You see that? Or then it's at the right side, 326. There's going to be the Rashi script out there, Lamed Aleph. Mishum lo tigzol. What does it mean you won't steal? Lufizem. Oh, look what we're worried about. If I steal a cookie from you, I'm pulling. You have a nice mishlach manot. I'm like, ha! I grab it and we're so good. You take the haman and you make a bracha on the cookie. When you steal something, can you make a bracha on it? Of course not. You can't steal something and make a bracha. We mentioned except for the Megillah. You can't make a bracha on a stolen Megillah, but you're allowed to hear a Megillah being read from a stolen Megillah because the Megillah itself is stolen, but the words that are being read are not stolen. Remember that? That was So here we're in a place where I stole your Mishlach Manot. I can make a bracha on the cookie, says the Mishnah Bua. Why? Because here the minhag is we're allowed to steal on Purim. So it's not stealing. But Katav Bashla. Who is the Shla? The Shla HaKadosh. You've seen his name before, for sure. The Shnei Luchot HaBrit. He's an Ashkenazi Kabbalist. Anyone whose name? 10 points for his name. Yeah, very good. Rabbi Shayahu Levi Horowitz. Very good. He was an Ashkenazi Kabbalist. He made Aliyah to Israel. He became the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim for a long time. Most of the Ashkenazi customs that look Sephardic, not in America, there's no such thing like that. In Israel, there are many Ashkenazi customs that are old Ashkenazi customs that are Sephardic. Like what? Like doing Birkat Kohanim every day. Like saying En Kelohenu after Tefillah every day. Like saying Baruch Hu at the end of Alenu every day. All the things Sephardim do. Why? Because of the Shla Kadosh. He was a Kabbalist and he felt the Sephardic customs were more in line with Kabbalah. And he forced the Ashkenazi community to accept upon themselves certain selected Sephardic customs. So he writes here, Lav Mishnat Chasidim hi. But this is not, the Chasidim, righteous people won't do this stuff. The Shomer Nafsho, and someone who's careful about his neshama, Yirchak Malbushim Dechlaim V'lachtof Mechavero. He'll stay away from all these forbidden clothings and from stealing from his friend. It's not, righteous people don't do that. What he's saying is that the simple Jews, the one that's all they have left for Purim, that's okay. Some people Purim is Haman cookies and making noise during the Megillah. That's all their Purim. Mishlach Manot, they don't do. Matot Avnim, they don't do. Even here in the Megillah, it's only to make noise they hear the Megillah. For these little people, their rabbis weren't strict, because that was fine. It was like a certain spirit of lawlessness in the streets. But Talmidei Chachamim shouldn't act this way.
I don't understand how it's not a Yom Tov. It's a rabbinic holiday. How it can possibly circumvent Torah law?
Yeah.
We don't understand either. But it's not the only thing. I have some time with you, so let me.
Especially the Beged Isha and stealing. I mean, it's.
But let's just do. We have 2 more sentences till we finish the whole Shulchan Aruch.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll get to this. The next chapter, Yom Yudaled v'Tetvav Sheba'adar Rishon and Noflim al Pnei v'Norim Mizmor Yacham Shem Tzara. On the 14th and 15th, we don't do Tachanun. We don't say the Tehillim that are connected to Tachanun. V'Asurim behestebed v'Tanit. And they're forbidden to give eulogies and to fast. We already said this. אבל שאר הדברים מנוהגים מהם, ויש אומרים דאף פסוקים. The Rama says, יש אומרים, some say שחייב להרבות במשתה ושמחה בי"ד שבאדר ראשון. That you should be happy on the 14th of Adar, when there's 2 months of Adar, you should be happy on the first one. ונוהגים כן, that's not our custom. It's not our custom to be happy. מכל מקום, ירבה קצת בסעודה כדי לצאת ידי המחמירים, וטוב לב משתה תמיד. He says it's proper that you should at least make a little bit of simcha on the 14th of Adar to remember that it's Purim. There are the opinions that should be happy. I think the Hasidim are very careful about this. The Hasidim, on the 14th, they call it the Purim Katan. They celebrate that. In the past, you remember, simply Tzfat used to come to us for the 14th of Adar, the first month. The band would come and make simcha. Now look here, it's the end of the Shulchan Aruch, the whole first section of Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, and so everyone wants to leave off with a poem. Maran, I think it's Maran, where's the Rama? Nishlam tur Achaim, V'chot Megillah. We finished Orach Chaim, the last Megillah. Shevach v'hodah l'norah adila. Praise to the Great One. Hu yizaken ligmot kula. It's a poem. He should let us finish the whole Shulchan Aruch. V'yatzilenu mikol mikshol v'takala. And he should save us from all mistakes and downfalls. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen v'amen. If you look in the Ber Hetev says, Bet tifartenu b'mhera yamod. Our house of splendor should soon stand. Uvira oto navod. And with all we will serve Hashem. Nachon yeh harabait berosh harim adei. May the Temple Mount be the head of all the mountains in the future. Chavetz Chaim writes in the bottom, Siyamti b'chesed Hashem yitbarach. I finished with the help of Hashem. B'yom Yutet Chodesh Mar Cheshvan, on the 19th of Mar Cheshvan, Taf Reish Samech Zayin. That's about 100 years ago. We just finished the whole chapter of Shulchan Aruch, but we don't run away yet. I want to read some Chacham Ovadia. Obviously, everyone needs to go, but Chacham Ovadia has a few pieces that really bother him, that people do on Purim. Let me find them. Can someone open the door or something?
It's stuffy.
Am I the only one here who's hot?
No.
Let me read you from Rabbi Yosef himself, and if I can get to his sources, I will. He writes in Chazon Ovadia, in his book on Purim, that which they have accustomed to get dressed, v'libosh partzufim, to wear masks b'Purim. Any sug b'davar. There's no prohibition of that. Meaning, even though Sfaradim never heard of this custom, it's not prohibited. Who cares? You want to wear a costume, wear a costume. In Baltimore, they had a good minhag. They would wear Shabbat clothing for the Megillah, and then after the Megillah, everyone would get dressed up. That way you're not reading the Megillah to a bunch of clowns. But there's not any sul. There's no prohibition. Ulam asur legever libosh simat isha. It's prohibited for a man to wear a woman's clothing. V'chen lo yekle gever lisha, and also the other way around. That doesn't change because it's Purim. It's a biblical commandment. V'gam li'iladim, and also for little children, nachon shom lasot ken. You shouldn't do this. Meaning, even though children are a different category than adults, even by children it's good not to do this. Wow. No, the whole world cannot stand this next one. This is an old school Sephardic opinion. It's forbidden to invite a magician to perform a Purim. How many synagogues in the world invite magicians for Purim? Because the kind of magician who with sleight of hand, it's like he does sorcery. He's just doing it for amusement. Even though he's not doing any kind of actual sorcery, it's just sleight of hand, it's forbidden to invite him. And there might be room to allow him if the magician is not Jewish, so long as he's only doing sleight of hand. Meaning, don't invite the real Wizard of Oz. Just kosem. Now, this is a conversation. If you would like one day to have a class on this, magicians and halakha, it's a complicated topic. Some say the magician has to show some of his tricks, how he does them, so you don't believe that he can do magic. Some say that even that is too close to the biblical prohibition against getting involved in magic. In America, which, it's entertainment, what's the big deal? But it's a big deal because it's a biblical commandment about not getting involved with magicians. And I'm not here to beat up anybody. There's obviously opinions people rely on, but it's something to be aware of, at least to be aware that there's an issue at all. That which is a custom lately in the yeshivot. He's telling you it's not an old Ashkenazi custom because you don't find it anywhere in the sources that we read today. Livchor lehem Rav Purim. They have a Purim rabbi. You ever heard of this? It's a Purim rabbi. The whole Purim, that's the Rosh Yeshiva. He dresses up like the Rosh Yeshiva. He makes fun of the Rosh Yeshiva. He gives speeches. He stands in front of the kabir. Everything is like a mocking of the rabbis in the yeshiva. אשר משמיע במרום קולו בדברי ליצנות והיתול על ראש ישיבה ורמי ישיבה, which he lifts up his voice like a fool and speaks bad and jokes all about the Rosh Yeshiva and the rabbis of the yeshiva. בדברי ביקורת בבדיחות הדת, and he is poking fun, like critiquing the rabbis of the yeshiva through jokes. לא תהא כזאת בישראל, there should be no such thing in the Jewish people. כי אין שום היתר בדבר, there is no permission at all in halakha to have such an idea. You ever heard of a Purim spiel? Yeah. What is a Purim spiel? Half the Purim spiels in the world make fun of the rabbi and the people who run the synagogue. Or the people in the synagogue. Oh, this one blows his nose so much, or this one. I've been to these things in my life. You've seen them. But it's just a joke. You would have made fun of somebody in front of the whole community. Maybe this guy never realized that everybody thinks that he blows his nose so much. How is it different than embarrassing somebody in public any other day of the week? There's no heter for this at all. והמבדח הזה על חשבון חכמי ישראל, and one who makes people laugh on account of those chachamim of the Jewish people, gadol avono minaso. His sin is greater than he could ever bear. There's no way in the world he'll be able to make up tshuva for what he did. Alav ne'emar, okay, he reads some really bad psukim about such people. V'hu bichlal mevazeh tamidei chachamim, and he's included in the category of those, he's included in the category of those people who disgrace the Torah scholars. She'eno chelek l'mabad, he forfeits his portion in the world to come. He wants to lose a portion of the world to come. Be the Purim rabbi. V'chol hayoshev sham, and anybody who sits in this performance, ve'no mochel kavod Torah, and he doesn't protest the desecration of the Torah, nilkad gam hu b'shchitutam, he will also be guilty by association.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
U'ma'od yipaleh al bnei Torah, says, I'm very bewildered by Torah scholars, yeshiva students. Asher yarhivu oz asot ken, who have the chutzpah, the brazenness to do such a thing. Hayim shechu ma shanu chamim, did they forget what the chachamim taught us? Hevei zahir b'gachalatam shlo tichveh. Be afraid of the coals of the Talmidei Chamim so you don't get burned. V'chol mi sheyesh b'yado yacholet levatel haminhag hara hazeh, and anybody who has in their ability to uproot this evil custom, alav leshanes motanav, he must gird his loins, levaer hara mikirbenu, to uproot this evil that exists in our midst. V'lo yishama, v'lo yipaked, v'lo yizacher od kadavar hara hazeh, that there should be no memory and no thought and no remembrance of this custom in the Jewish people. V'lashomim yinaim, and for those people who listen to me, they should receive pleasantness. V'alehem tavo b'katov, and they should receive blessings of goodness. And he brings sources and sources and sources and sources about this. So many sources and sources and sources. He writes also about all the things about wearing men's clothing and women's clothing. Let me tell you, let me read you from Rambam. The Rambam has a letter. There's the custom in the Sephardic world. His Rambam letter, the Rambam was writing it, so it existed by us. That the Kala, when she would dance at the wedding, it was like funny. She'd put on the guy's tarbush or his fez hat, or she'd dance around, or whatever else it was. Katavi writes, "B'davar mashesh noagim." There are some people that have this custom, shakala titznof mitznefet okova, that she wears some kind of turban or some hat that are for men. Velokachat biyada saif, and she holds in her hand a sword. V'yotzet b'machol lifnei anashim, and she goes out and dances in front of the men and the women with her sword. Lo ya'aleh hadat, it should not even enter your mind. Shemipnei heyota kala, that just because she's a bride, hutar la isur Torah beto'eva zo, that she's allowed to violate an explicit biblical prohibition, which is called by the Torah to'eva. They translate English as abomination. I don't like that word, but it's that bad. He said he remembers. Kvar nasa ken b'Mitzrayim. We already had this in Egypt. Vayu nichshalim bo gdolim, and there were even great people that were involved in this custom. Ad shebitalnu oto, until we uprooted this custom. Umachinu zichro. That's the same words used for Amalek. And we wiped out his memory. V'chani minhag. There was a minhag. Shachatan yotzei liisha hamekashetet oto. The groom would come out, and there'd be a woman who would decorate him in woman's clothing. It's funny, it's a wedding, light it up a little bit. That's forbidden also. How do you allow biblical prohibitions to pass for no reason? Again, you can be as strict as this as you would like. There are things that are not even halacha. I once saw a parent strict about it. It's not a halacha. He needed to get something, and the only slippers he could find were his wife's slippers. He wouldn't wear them. Now, is he allowed to wear wife's slippers? If they're not specific for women, they're just house slippers.
There's a lot of generic.
Yeah, a lot of generic looking stuff. They still wouldn't put it on.
Unisex.
You wouldn't put it on? I'm not going to start telling you now what happens if your wife is cold and you give her her jacket. I'm not telling you now be strict in bad situations. But the idea of this is a biblical prohibition. It's a biblical prohibition. And all of them are going to go away because people are happy on Purim. What does it tell you about the celebration of Purim if in order to be happy you have to violate things that the Torah and the Talmud say? What can I do? What are you going to say? But everybody does it. Great people do it. I know. That's the problem. That's not a good thing. Not an excuse. Great people are doing things that are a mistake. But they haven't what to rely on. I'm going to be bold and say, even the Ramah is not telling you it's a positive custom. Look what the Mishnah Berurah said. It's like, you shouldn't really do this if you're a Chassid. All the Ramah is saying is that you can be silent about it. You don't have to scream at them. You don't have to shout at them. You don't have to. Okay, it's what the people in the street do. Leave them alone. But to think that now there's some kind of minhag on Purim,